Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101 Thanksgiving Day NFL Week 12 edition. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're enjoying your time with family and friends. We've got some great NFL football action for you today. And right now, the Green Bay Packers are taking on the Detroit Lions at Ford Field in Detroit. It's 23 to 6 Packers with 2 minutes to go in the second quarter, excuse me. It's a 4th and 4 at the Green Bay 35. The Lions have the ball. Boy, I thought the Lions would jump out to the early lead and never let up, but the Packers have just dominated this first half of the game. But we'll get to all that in just a moment. But first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 Week 12 Thanksgiving Day NFL trivia question. It's a Cowboys trivia question. In 2007, which Dallas Cowboy wide receiver was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame? And I will have the answer later in the podcast. Well, it's week 12 of the NFL football regular season. We have three great Thanksgiving Day matchups for you today to enjoy. In the early game, well, you're seeing right now the Green Bay Packers are taking on the Detroit Lions at Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan. The Detroit Lions are coming off a 31 to 26 win over the Chicago Bears last week. The Lions are hoping to take down Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers at home. The Detroit Lions have finally turned things around this season, and Dan Campbell is a potential candidate for Coach of the Year. Uh, and the key matchup for Detroit is their running game. Green Bay's defense against Green Bay's defense. Excuse me. Dave Montgomery had 121 yards rushing and three TDs in the win against Green Bay back in the regular season. Uh, Jameer Gibbs is averaging 130.5 yards from scrimmage with five TDs over the last four games. Uh, they're uh, they're the first pair of NFL running backs to have more than 665 yards in a game in a game from scrimmage, excuse me, and five touchdowns in 10 games since 2009 when Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams did it in Miami. The Packers are giving up 134.7 yards rushing, ranking among the league's worst and allowing 211 in the previous matchup with Detroit. The Lions are uh, with four straight wins in the series and have a chance to win five in a row for the first time since an 11-game winning streak from the 1949 to 1954 seasons. Green Bay is playing Detroit on Thanksgiving for the 22nd time uh, for time, making it the most common opponent on the holiday. The Packers are 8-12-1 against the Lions on Thanksgiving Day. Detroit and Green Bay are playing multiple times in a season on Thursday for the first time since 1926. Uh, Now, Detroit is really going to have to come up with some magic in that second half if they want to win today's game because they're struggling right now. They've been held to just two field goals. And last week, the Packers are. I'm trying to think here. The Packers, they are coming off a 22 to 20 win over the Chargers last week. And that was a win that they needed. And they've been struggling, but they've had a few games where they've done what they needed to do to get the wins. So we're going to see what happens in this game today. Uh, in the late game at 4:30 this afternoon, the Washington Commanders will take on the Dallas Cowboys in Big D at AT&T Stadium. And the Cowboys are coming off a big 33 to 10 win over the Panthers last week, slaughtering them. And the Commanders are coming off a 31 to 19 loss to the Giants last week. And they're going to want to be out to win this game, but I think Dallas is favored by 10.5 points, and you'll get my Thanksgiving Day pick shortly. But Dallas is really, I think, the favorite to win this one, and they've been really dominating, and they're 7-3 right now. The Commanders are 4-7, and a third consecutive game as a double-digit favorite is a chance for the Cowboys to extend their longest home winning streak since the franchise was in the middle of an NFL record 20 straight winning seasons 4 decades ago. And there is a little something else to keep America's team motivated before the opponents get more difficult in the stretch run. The most traditional Thanksgiving opponents with an 11th straight visit on the holiday from Washington on Thursday. Something about the time of year helps as well. And Dallas has won is 7-2. They have won 12 games in a row at AT&T Stadium, the longest streak at home since an 18-game run at Old Texas Stadium from 1979 to 1981. And I really think it's going to be a long day. The Commanders are really going to have to jump out early if they want to win this game today. So we'll see what happens in that game. And Thursday night football, the San Francisco 49ers are playing the Seattle Seahawks tonight at Lumen Field, and Seattle is favored. San Francisco is favored by 6.5 points, and Seattle, they have been kind of struggling. So that Geno Smith is questionable for that game tonight. 49ers coming off a win over the Buccaneers last week, and Seahawks are coming off a 1 point loss to the Rams last week. So we shall see what happens. Right now, it's time to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 Thanksgiving Day Week 12 NFL pregame show trivia question. It's a Dallas Cowboys trivia question. In 2007, which Dallas Cowboys wide receiver was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame? And if you said Michael Irving, you are correct. Michael Irving played his entire career of 12 seasons with the Cowboys. He retired after the 1999 season. He was a first round draft pick, 11th pick of the 1988 NFL draft from the University of Miami. And he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2007. Next podcast, which will be tomorrow, actually, because there's a game tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And that game tomorrow will be the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium. Miami is favored by 9.5 points, and excuse me, the Dolphins are coming off a 20-13 win over the Raiders last week, and the Jets are coming off just a slaughtering 32-6 loss at the hands of the Bills last week. So right now, I'm going to give you my Thanksgiving Day pick of the week, and and I'm taking Detroit to beat Green Bay, but right now they're down 23-6 with 30 seconds to go to halftime. 2nd and 10 at the Detroit 16. The Lions have the ball, and I'm going with Dallas to beat Washington because they're favored by 10.5 points. That was a give me. I'm taking San Francisco to beat Seattle because I feel they'll get the win. And I'm taking Miami for tomorrow's game to beat the Jets. You'll get the rest of the picks on Sunday. So, getting back to today's game, I really think Green Bay has just dominated this first half, and they're going to need to come up with some magic in that second half if they want to get the win in today's game, the Detroit Lions. And the Green Bay is going to have to keep that momentum going into the second half. So we shall see what happens with today's game. I want to wish that is just about going to wrap it up for the Scott Sports 101 NFL Week 12 Thanksgiving Day pregame show. And so I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time with your family and friends. I'll be back with the early game, post-game show And it may be a early late game postgame show because I'm going to go to my sister-in-law, so it'll be probably an early game postgame show once both the Green Bay Detroit game and Washington Dallas game has concluded. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.